Hello and welcome, dear students. Today we will discuss an important lecture on solution of water problems, conjunctive use of surface and groundwater. As you know, the water resources are critical for sustaining life and supporting socio-economical development. These resources are under increasing threat both in quantity and quality due to population growth and surge in global water consumption. With only 2.5% of Earth's water being fresh and a mere 1% accessible in lakes, rivers and groundwater, these limited resources are distributed highly, even unevenly across regions. This disparity creates acute water scarcity, particularly in arid and semi-arid areas such as Arabian Peninsula, Africa and parts of South Asia. Given these interesting challenges, an integrated approach uniting sustainable resource management, technological advancement and strong policy is essential to assure long-term water security for human populations and ecosystems alike. Now, let us discuss about the conjunctive use of surface water and groundwater resources. Conjunctive use of groundwater and surface water refers to the integrated and coordinated management of these two hydrological resources to optimize their utilization and address water availability challenges effectively. This approach is particularly critical in regions prone to water scarcity, over extraction of groundwater or inconsistent surface water flow. Conjunctive use is a critical tool to address the dual challenges of water scarcity and ecosystem degradation. By bridging the gap between resource availability, infrastructure and policy, it offers a pathway towards achieving sustainable and equitable water resource management. The conjunctive use involves the planned and synchronized exploitation of groundwater. Subsurface water stored in aquifers, typically extracted through wells, and the surface water, water from rivers, lakes and reservoirs and canals, primarily used for irrigation, municipal and industrial purposes. The goal is to balance these resources in a way that minimizes over-reliance on one source, mitigates seasonal variability and ensures sustainable water use over the long term. Now, we will look on the benefits of conjunctive use. The number one is optimizing resource availability. Groundwater serves as a buffer during dry seasons or drought conditions when surface water flow is limited. Excess surface water during wet seasons can be used to artificially recharge groundwater aquifers, improving their long-term sustainability. Second one is reducing water scarcity. Enhances water availability, ensuring a steady supply for agriculture, domestic and industrial needs, particularly in water-stressed regions. The third one is mitigating flood and drought risks. Channels access surface water during floods into recharge structures, preventing resource wastage and alleviating flood impacts and stabilizing water levels in aquifers to counteract drought conditions. Fourth one is cost effectiveness in water supply. Combined surface and groundwater reduces infrastructure costs associated with singular large-scale water management systems. The fifth one is the ecosystem preservation. Prevents over extraction and depletion of groundwater, minimizing issues like land subsidence, saltwater intrusion in coastal aquifers and ecological damage to rivers and wetlands reliant on groundwater discharge. The number 6 is water quality protection. reduces reliance on a single source, mitigating issues like salinity or contamination that often arise from overusing a single water source. Now, let us discuss challenges in implementing conjunctive use. Number 1 is hydraulic complexity. Interaction between surface water and groundwater systems is highly complex and requires detailed hydrogeological studies to manage effectively. Delineating zones where recharge or extraction should occur is technically challenging. The second one is institutional and policy gaps. Lack of integrated water management policies often disrupts coordination between agencies managing these resources. Water rights or usage disputes can emerge. The third one is infrastructure limitations. Many regions lack the necessary infrastructure, example, recharge ponds, canals, networks, well systems to enable conjunctive use. High initial investment costs may deter widespread adoption. The fourth one is data deficiency. A shortage of reliable data on groundwater levels, aquifer capacities and surface water resources hinders effective planning. The fifth one is climate variability. Unpredictable rainfall and changes in hydrological cycles due to climate change complicate resource allocation and seasonal planning. The sixth one is community participation. Educating and involving stakeholders, example farmers, urban planners in conjunctive use strategies is often overlooked but essential for success. Now, let us discuss what are the strategies for effective conjunctive use. Let us discuss them one by one. Number 1, integrated water management planning. Establish frameworks incorporating surface and groundwater management at the regional and basin levels. Introduce policies incentivizing sustainable resource use such as subsidies for groundwater recharge projects or penalties for over extraction. Second one is artificial recharge efforts. Develop infrastructure such as recharge basins, percolation tanks and check dams to channel excess surface water into aquifers. Utilize treated wastewater or storm water for recharge purpose. The third one is data and technological integration. Harness geographic information system, remote sensing and modeling tools to monitor and predict groundwater and surface water interactions. Real-time data collection through IoT-enabled sensors for well levels, canals, flows and recharge rates. Fourth one, demand-side management. Promote precision irrigation techniques like drip or sprinkler systems to reduce water demand in agriculture. Create groundwater usage caps for agricultural and industrial sectors prone to overuse. The fifth one is climate resilient practices. Diversify water sources to cope with climate induced variability. Develop adaptive policies focusing on long-term hydrological trends rather than short-term objectives. Sixth one is institutional reforms. Foster collaboration among government agencies to streamline groundwater and surface water governance. Encourage public-private partnerships and stakeholders' involvement at the community level. Now, what are the artificial recharge methods? Artificial recharge refers to human intervention to enhance the natural replenishment of groundwater through techniques that introduce surface water into aquifers. This process is especially critical in regions experiencing groundwater depletion due to over-extraction or seasonal variability in recharge rates. Artificial recharge methods play a pivotal role in enhancing the conjunctive use of groundwater and surface water systems, allowing for more sustainable and efficient water resource management. Common artificial recharge techniques include recharge basins or infiltration basins. These are the broad, shallow basins that facilitate water infiltration into the subsurface. The injection wells, these wells directly inject treated surface water or storm water into aquifers via vertical boreholes. Percolation trenches. These are linear trenches filled with permeable material such as grave to aid infiltration, check dams and percolation tanks. These small barriers in streams or rivers that temporarily store water, allowing infiltration. Floodwater spreading, utilizing divergent channels to spread floodwaters over large areas, encouraging infiltration into unconfined aquifers. Rainwater harvesting with storage tanks captures rainwater runoff for subsequent recharge into aquifers through filter system. Intersection of artificial recharge with conjective use. Conjective use involves the integrated management of surface water and groundwater resources to maximize resource availability while minimizing over-reliance on a single source. Artificial recharge strengthens conjective use strategies in these ways. Enhancing resource availability. Artificial recharge increases groundwater storage during periods of surface water surplus, such as monsoon seasons or peak river flows. This ensures adequate reserves of groundwater during dry spells or droughts, stabilizing water availability for agricultural, industrial and domestic use. For example, seasonal balancing. During the monsoon, excess surface water is directed to recharge aquifers, which can then supply water in low flow months, supporting year-round irrigation and municipal water needs. Drought mitigation. Artificial recharge creates a buffer against drought conditions, allowing groundwater to supplement reduced surface water flow. They help to improve water quality. Recharge processes that involve percolation through soil layers provide natural filtration to surface water, reducing sediment loads, pathogens and certain pollutants before reaching the aquifer. Treatment can further improve the quality of surface water diverted for recharge, which is particularly beneficial for maintaining groundwater quality in overexploited regions where salinization, nitrates and other contaminants are concerns. Reducing aquifer depletion. Artificial recharge combats over extraction by replenishing aquifer suffering from declining water levels. This is especially valuable in agricultural regions where groundwater supports the majority of irrigation needs. It mitigates challenges such as land subsidence and salinity intrusion caused by excessive groundwater withdrawal, mitigating floods and increasing resilience. Artificial recharge infrastructure reduces the impact of extreme rainfall events by channeling excess stormwater or river discharge into recharge systems. This approach not only minimizes flood risks in urban or agricultural areas, but also ensures that the captured water contributes to long-term underground reserves. Supporting integrated water resource management. Artificial recharge enhances the synchronization of groundwater and surface water management within a basin or regional framework. For example, recharge infrastructures stabilize aquifers, allowing conjective use planners to allocate water more flexibility across urban, industrial and agricultural sectors. The use of managed aquifer recharge system enables water managers to account for both supply side surface water recharge and demand side controlled groundwater extraction. Now, let us discuss challenges and considerations in artificial recharge. While artificial recharge methods significantly enhance conjective water use, there are important challenges and factors to consider for effective implementation. Number one, hydrogeological feasibility. The selection of suitable recharge sites requires detailed hydrogeological analysis to assess aquifer permeability, storage capacity, and connectivity. For example, regions with impermeable rock layers or compacted soil are less conducive to recharge. Second one, water quality management. Surface water used for recharge must meet quality standards to prevent contamination of groundwater resources. Pre-treatment or natural attenuation processes may be necessary to remove pollutants, including heavy metals, nitrates, or microbial contaminants. The third one is climate variability and rainfall patterns. The feasibility of artificial recharge depends on the availability of surface water in regions with limited or unpredictable rainfall due to climate change. Ensuring significant recharge water becomes a challenge. The fourth one is infrastructure and cost. High initial investments in recharge infrastructure, such as injection wells or large retention basins, can hinder implementation. Securing funds and designing cost-effective solutions are critical for broader adaptation. The fifth one is governance and policy integration. Coordinated policy frameworks are required to manage groundwater recharge and extraction effectively. For example, incentivizing farmers to participate in recharge programs or regulating aquifer withdrawal to prevent over-extraction. Now, let us discuss some global and Indian examples. Artificial recharge methods have demonstrated success in several countries and offer lessons for India's water management. Global examples: California, USA, managed aquifer recharge programs using surplus surface water and flood water have stabilized groundwater resources in a drought-prone Central Valley region. Australia, the Murray-Darling Basin employs artificial recharge to maintain groundwater levels for agricultural under conjunctive water use frameworks. Indian applications. India's water scarcity crisis, particularly in states like Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan, can benefit greatly from artificial recharge initiatives. Existing programs such as watershed management projects in Gujarat and Maharashtra have shown the potential of check dams, percolation tanks, and rainwater harvesting in addressing over-extraction and improving conjunctive use. For example, North 24 Parganas district, West Bengal, artificial recharge sites have been identified as integral to rainwater harvesting systems to mitigate groundwater depletion and water contamination. Ganga Basin recharge projects. Initiatives such as check dams and adoption of managed recharge across northern India have sought to address severe water table declines. What are the solutions for effective integration? To maximize the benefits of artificial recharge in conjunctive water use, these steps should be considered. Number 1, site selection. Utilize GIS and remote sensing tools to identify optimal recharge zones based on aquifer characteristics, land use change, and water availability. Number 2, public-private partnerships. Strengthen collaborations between local governments, NGOs, and private stakeholders to finance and execute large-scale recharge programs. Number 3, awareness campaigns. Educate farmers and communities about the importance of recharge practices and their potential long-term benefits through training and outreach initiatives. Number 4, incentive mechanisms. Provides subsidies or tax benefits for adopting recharge infrastructure such as rooftop rainwater harvesting systems or constructing percolation tanks on farmland. Rainwater harvesting techniques. Now we will look on urban rainwater harvesting. Make rooftop rainwater harvesting mandatory for building in cities like Bengaluru and Chennai, where water stress is highest. Rainwater harvesting is a sustainable water management practice that involves collecting and storing rainwater for various uses. Offering a solution to increasing water scarcity, urbanization, and climate change impacts. Here is a brief account of methods employed in rainwater harvesting as given by scientists researchers. Rooftop rainwater harvesting. Rooftop rainwater harvesting is a widely adopted method where rainwater falling on building rooftops is collected and channelized into storage facilities. This method is particularly effective in urban areas where impervious surface like roof generate significant runoff. The quality of harvested rainwater from rooftops can vary depending on meteorological conditions and roofing materials such as galvanized metal, ceramic tile, concrete and asphalts. Studies support that rainwater stored in tanks can be superior to the initial flush, suggesting the importance of first flush diversion systems. Surface runoff harvesting. This method involves collecting rainwater from land surfaces or catchment areas, directing it into storage systems like tanks or underground reservoirs. Number 1, surface runoff harvesting can be either on site or off site. An example of an on site system is the ridge ferroplastic mulching forming system, which has been widely used in semi-arid regions for partial rainwater harvesting. Off-site systems often involve constructing water cisterns or ponds for supplemental irrigation. Rain barrels and cisterns. Rain barrels and cisterns are common grain infrastructure practices used to collect and store roof runoff. These storage units serve as a valuable resource for landscape irrigation, effectively reducing municipal water demand and mitigating stormwater runoff. The use of rain barrels is permitted in some regions such as Colorado for residential non-potable uses like landscaping irrigation. Innovations include the inverted umbrella type rainwater harvesting system, designed for efficient collection even during light showers in various settings, including rooftops and urban landscapes. Now, let us discuss other rainwater harvesting structures. Beyond rooftops and surface runoff collection, other structures contribute to rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharge. These include recharge pits, which facilitate direct infiltration into the ground, and percolate tanks, which are designed to allow collected water to gradually seep into the soil. Replenishing groundwater. Check dams are another effective method, particularly in agricultural landscapes, to slow down water flow, increase infiltration and store water for irrigation. Benefits and challenges. The benefits of rainwater harvesting are multifaceted, encompassing environmental, social and economic aspects. It serves as an alternative water supply, reducing reliance on conventional sources, and plays a role in flood and drought risk mitigation. Rainwater harvesting can also be integrated with sustainable drainage systems to attenuate surface stormwater runoff. However, challenges remain, such as ensuring water quality, particularly for potable use, as contaminants can enter the system from rainfall collection surfaces and storage components. The presence of emerging contaminants like pharmaceuticals, personal care products and artificial sweeteners in surface and groundwater highlights the need for effective treatment mechanisms in rainwater harvesting systems. If water is intended for drinking, the extensive application of rainwater harvesting projects can also be inhibited by challenges posed by dry seasons, necessitating robust performance evaluation and management strategies. Moreover, the lack of standardized technical specifications and guidelines in some regions can hinder the optimal design and implementation of rainwater harvesting systems. Despite these challenges, Rainwater harvesting system remains a critical strategy for water resource management, especially in regions facing water scarcity and urban flooding. Critical water issues in India. India is considered as the world's largest extractor of groundwater, accounting for 25% of global withdrawals. The high demand yet limited and unevenly distributed freshwater resources are a critical issue. India houses 17% of global population, but only 4% of the global freshwater, making it one of the most water stressed nations. India faces widespread water insecurity for agriculture, domestic and industrial use. These sections details the principal challenges and amplifying the core issues. Uneven distribution of water resources. Due to the geophysical characteristics, climate patterns and human activities, water resources in India are not even distributed across the country, both in terms of location and time of the year. For example, states like Uttarakhand and Kerala have high water availability due to their hilly terrain and heavy rainfall, whereas arid regions like Rajasthan faces water shortages. Second one, inefficient water management. India has one of the lowest water storage capacities per capita globally, limiting its ability to manage shortages during dry seasons, neglecting traditional water bodies such as step wells, reservoirs and tanks has reduced natural water storage capacity. Scarcity of freshwater supplies. The per capita water availability in India decreased from 5177 cubic meters in 1951 to around 1545 cubic meters in 2011. In regions like Rajasthan and Gujarat, physical water scarcity is a dire concern due to natural arid climates and over reliance on unsustainable water practices. Excessive dependence on groundwater. In northern and central regions, groundwater is being extracted for beyond replenishment rates, leading to a spectacular drop in aquifer levels, land subsidence and long-term water scarcity risks. Urban water stress. Around 11 of India's 20 largest cities face severe water stress. Chennai and Bengaluru are already struggling to meet basic water demands. Chennai's acute water shortage in 2019 are a bare example of how urban areas in India struggle with inadequate infrastructure and mismanagement of water resources. Over-exploitation of groundwater. Agriculture consumes nearly 80 to 90% of India's total available freshwater, with most used for insufficient irrigation practices. Example, flood irrigation being a significant problem. Water intensive crops such as sugarcane and paddy exacerbate the depletion of groundwater reserves, particularly in agricultural states like Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, whereas groundwater is being extracted by beyond recharge rates. Pollution and contamination of freshwater sources. Urban and industrial wastewater often goes untreated, contaminating freshwater resources and limiting their usability. Industrial discharge, agricultural runoff like pesticides and fertilizers, and untreated wastewater are major contributors to water contamination. Climate change impacts. India is increasingly vulnerable to hydrological extremes. Flooding during monsoons and severe droughts in off seasons. Himalayan glaciers melt and altered monsoon patterns are reducing water availability in major river systems like the Ganges and Brahmaputra, endangering agricultural livelihoods and energy generation from hydroelectric dams. Changes in monsoon timing and intensity affect major reservoirs and groundwater recharge. This was all about today's lecture. Hope you have enjoyed it well. Thank you for watching.